It is an honor to have Craig Brodhead join us to tell us not only the story of DMX, but the time he spent here on Earth. Here, I give you Craig. Hey, how are you?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh man, I apologize.
No, it's fine.
It's
It's fine.
crazy. I'm driving now. We had some emergencies happen regarding the music and mastering we had to get in, and then with the logistics for the home going celebrations this weekend. So I completely lost track of time.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's an honor to speak to you and even get a piece of your day. I know you're really, really busy.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you for having us.
Of course, of course. So, how have you been in the past few weeks?
Oh man, you see this, right?
Yeah.
Not the sleep is, we're not sleeping well. It's been tough. It's been hard. Um, but like we really haven't been able to grieve anyway. So it's like, you get your moments where you just can't believe it. Um, but then you stay focused and grounded and realize that, he had a mission that he had to accomplish, that he wanted us to accomplish, and nothing changes except that he has moved on, but we have to continue on the mission. So that's really where our focus is right now. We have a good team. It was Maurice Jones, his road manager. We had a videographer that was with us for this past year, and my co-manager Steve Rifkin. And so we're just trying to pull things together and continue his mission for the children.
And I know you guys are going to do an amazing job.
Thank you.
Oh, how did you guys meet?
I'm at Rough Riders. I was at A&R at Rough Riders back in the day. So we did his albums with him. Kiss, Eve, The Locks. Styles P, Drag. And so there we developed, it was first a working relationship, but over time, a friendship and a trust grew. Um, but I wasn't involved on his management side. It was just on the music side doing the albums. So I left Rough Riders in 2006. And in between that time, we stayed in contact somewhat, but I really kind of just walked away from the industry for a while. Until 2016, and I, started getting back into it a little bit on the promotion side. And I noticed that Rough Riders hadn't done a tour; they hadn't gotten together in a while, hadn't performed for like 12 years. And so I got an investor, went to each of the artists myself, and got them to perform together for the first time in like 12 years. So,
Wow, that's
um, so that's how we reconnected again. On the business side. And then from there, that's when he started letting me know that, listen, I'm getting ready to get back with Def Jam and I need you to come back and executive produce this album. Um, so that's the story. Yeah.
that's so cool. So, what's your favorite song by DMX?
My favorite song by DMX is one that hasn't even been released yet.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
wait.
it is, this new album is, we're actually going to announce it this Saturday at his homegoing celebrations. We're going to announce the release date. And there's a song called It Got Worse.
Mm.
And it's what we all need to hear. It's not on this album, so it'll be heard shortly after that. But it's produced by Hitmaker.
Oh, wow. We got some
And
powerhouse.
it's yeah. Well, the current album is executive produced, and most of the production is by Swiss Beats. So he's family, and we've worked with him through the years. So and it's classic. I mean, the album is classic. Even his biggest fans, they're going to be very excited in just a few, in a little while, because I mean, we got songs featuring Bono from U2. We have Usher on another track, Alicia Keys, Lil Wayne, trying to remember, Nas. As far as newer artists, the Griselda Boys, Benny the Butcher, Conway and Westside, Pop Smoke. We got a big record with Pop Smoke.
That's so cool.
Yeah, DMX and Pop Smoke. So that's going to be special, for the fans.
So, what's the
But
message
we
you
got,
want to get from this up and coming album?
oh man, X, the man is, once again, he's just bearing his soul. He's bearing his soul to the world. He's kind of giving you insight into some of the things that he's been going through recently, in the past several years. Um, and I guess it's just that he's always given us the best of him. I guess that's the message, that he's constantly giving the best of him at the expense of himself,
That is
you know,
that
at
is
the expense of himself. And I think the overall theme would be is that the overall message, especially now, that he's gone, is that um, you don't have to wait to be perfect for God to use you. I
mm,
think that's the overall theme. Like, God can use you right now where you are, in the condition you're in. Like,
every
we've all made mistakes. We all have flaws. And don't let that stop you from doing his will, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that message. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception that DMX had in the media? Because
I
you knew
think it,
more than DMX, you knew Earl Simmons. So, what
right.
was the biggest misconception?
The biggest misconception is that he was so hard, and see, people loved him, but
Mm.
then he had, that he was just so rough and hard. He was really a teddy bear. He was
It's
really a
the
teddy
ones
bear.
that are like that
Like,
back in the
he loved people.
days.
You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
was he had just been hurt so much, and the things that he went through as a child. He had been scarred so much, so he had this rough exterior, but
Mm.
at heart, he was a teddy bear. And the people that really knew him, like his loved ones, his family, his children, his fiance, like they knew that at heart though, he was a teddy bear, you know, and that he's funny as heck. He's funny as hell. He's funny as hell,
So it sounds
because
like
even
you
though
had
he's
a lot of
always
memories. I can tell by that head shake.
yeah, he's always growling and screaming, and all that, and his voice is rough and that. But the man had the most infectious laugh that you could ever hear. To hear him laugh, like he laughed deep from his soul, his spirit, and he was always cracking jokes. So I would guess that's the biggest misconceptions. And then I think the thing that bothers me the most though is, even though he dealt with it and struggled with it, I think that the constant focus, even in death, on drugs, you know, I think is a disservice to his life and the way he lived and the way he touched people's lives. Because you can become so overly, focused on that you negate all the good that this man did, and he never hurt anybody. His biggest thing, what is, he constantly hurt himself, you
Mm.
know, with whether it's different decisions and choices he made. And his heart was so big that he continuously allowed people that had hurt him back in his life, you know,
A lot, because he carried a lot of hurt and a lot of pain.
because he had a big forgiving spirit. And so people would do it, and he just continually allow them back in his life and give them another chance and another chance.
Was it hard
Um,
watching like those tough times and just seeing it, and even people that didn't know him, like the media, just twist his story?
right. That's the biggest thing, because if you knew him, he was very down to earth. And that's why I call him the people's champ, because even how he came into the game, we changed the entire face of music and hip hop, because at that time, everybody was partying on yachts, popping Cristal, wearing Versace, Coogee. People were getting murdered and robbed, going to clubs and all that for what they were wearing. And here we came out, and he just had the wife beater or white
Yeah.
tee, jeans, and tin. So he changed the entire face of music, and the way and the manner in which he did it, the manner in which he did it. I think that's why fans love him so much. He's different to me than any artist, not just because I've worked with him, not just because he's a friend, but just analyzing like celebrity. And people love other people and whether it's other artists because of their music, because they got a hot song, because they have a hot record. You know, people love an actor or an actress because of how they look or because of a role they played. But this man, people genuinely loved him for him because he bore his soul to the entire world, and he didn't hide things. And yet people still
Mhm.
like loved him in spite of all his flaws, in spite of all his ups and downs. People always constantly rooted for this man, you know. And I think that's what separated him, because it was just about a song, people would have written him off years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You
It was
know,
the
if it was just a hot
personality
record.
package and the authenticity.
Right,
Ooh.
right,
Yes, I
right,
get that. Yeah, I can see that. I knew he was really down to earth just by his music, shows. I loved him in movies and
right,
everything. And that was like, that wasn't even my era. I'm a young.
right, right.
That just speaks a lot. That is just it was
Right,
different generations, and there'll be more to come with this new album.
right, exactly.
What is your favorite memory? Yeah.
My favorite memory is really how he connected with the public.
Hmm.
It's not anything about performances or albums, you know, and I probably keep telling this story over and over just to see like how deep his impact was on people. We were in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, and we couldn't go 5, 10 feet without being stopped by another group of people. And we're trying to get, and he never turned anybody down when it came to photographs. He didn't give autographs out, but he always did photographs. And this one woman, she had a European accent. She was probably in her mid 60s to early 60s, and she said, "DMX, you know, I'm a big fan. Can I get a picture with you?" And he's like, "No problem." And she took a picture. Um, and then she walked away. We didn't think anything of it. We started taking pictures with other people that came up, and she comes back, 15, 20, whatever it was, 30 seconds later, and she's like completely red. Her eyes, she's bawling, crying, hysterically. But she has her phone in front of her. "Ah," and she's like, "You're trying to talk to us." And she's like, "Excuse me, I don't mean to bother you, but can I talk to you?" And she tells us the story. She says, I have a son who's mentally challenged.
Hmm.
And for the last 2 weeks, she said that, we bathe him, we get him dressed, we sit him in his chair, and he's not really responsive to us. We're talking to him, he's not talking, whatever. And then she turns the picture to him. She said, "I just told him, she called him and said, guess who I just met?" And the caretaker held up the phone, and she was like, "DMX." And when she turned the phone around to us, he was like he was all excited, and X just bust out in tears right there on the boardwalk. And he just looked up and he said, "Dear God, why? Like, why do you put this awesome burden on me?" And so what did that tell me? And then prayed with the young man over FaceTime and with his mother. And, she went away and he's still crying and he's explaining to us. He's like, "Yo, Craig, listen." He said, "Most people would think that when people come to you and share this type of stuff with you, that it would be a blessing to you, that would make you feel good, that God has used you in that way." But in his mind, he's like, why am I so worthy that I have this effect on people? Like, why me? So that just let me know that all the things that he's been going through in life have, beaten him down, to where he had to be reminded that, no, you're special. You know what I'm saying? Like, God has a purpose for you. Then you can touch people's lives through your words, through your prayers, through your music than any other person, that's when I realized he even needed to hear that, because he often questioned, like, why me? Why have you given me this gift? Why do I have this impact on people? There's not a day that we went in public, not one day on my life, not one day where at least one person didn't come up and say, "Your music saved my life," or "Your music changed my life," or "Got me through the worst part of my life," or "Got me through a bid," or and like I said, I told before, I often say this one woman came up and said that my daughter has a mother because of you. I was suicidal and your music helped me. So like that's the message when it comes to his life. Like, it's not about music to me. It's about the way the man touched people's lives through his music, through his prayers, and then just through his everyday words and contact with people.
That's amazing. He definitely had a hidden gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is amazing. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that you got to experience that moment with him and even remind him, like, hey, this is why you're here. Like, don't, like, some people don't know
Right.
their impact and they just need to be reminded sometimes.
Right.
Love that.
Right. Yeah. And it did his spirit good, because near the last several months, as we were doing the album, we ran into a lot, from Dave Chappelle to Snoop, of course, at the versus battle, to uh, Jamie Foxx, and
Mhm.
everybody just showed him so much love and tried to let him know, like, how much you mean to us. to hip hop culture, to like to us in general, to us, not just the fans, to us. And you could see like he really appreciated that, and it touched him in his soul. So that was a blessing too, to experience that, to see them, certain people giving him his flowers, while what we would call now that we know, while he was alive. Like that's something that's special too, that I know really touched him and helped him.
That is an amazing
Yeah.
experience and
Yeah.
blessing. So, speaking about experiences, tell us about Rebel Sky Production and your connection to the company.
Rebel Sky Productions is a company that I started in the name of my grandkids, and it was, considered to continue their legacy. It's stuff that I was doing in concert with X, but X has Bloodline Productions. Um, so it's a way for me to be involved and engaged in productions. We were going to build his production company, and then my portion in it would have been under Rebel Sky Productions. Um, so it's about the legacy. So for him, Bloodline Productions, Bloodline Records, Bloodline Films was about building a legacy for his children,
Mm.
and providing for them. So he was at a stage in his life where he realized that he didn't want to do music too much longer. And so it was us now developing his brand so that he no longer had to rap. He no longer had to perform. And so we were going to transition more into like film and TV. Um, oh wow, we got interrupted. We said, yeah, to film and TV, where he would, we had film ideas where he could just be executive producer. So he wanted to kind of like, he wanted to fade away and just be able to spend more time with his children. He didn't want to be out front in the public eye too much longer, because celebrity had cost him a lot, including time with his kids, family time. And so he was really looking forward to that, like reclaiming that and reestablishing that. So yeah, so Rebel Skies was is a company that I started, and together we were also doing Bloodline Productions.
Okay, do you see any musical aspirations in his kids? Like they might want to work on behind the scenes and any type of field in the entertainment industry?
Well, his oldest son Xavier, I know, taught himself how to play the guitar and writes. Um, and then I know his son Javon. Uh, Actually, he was just with us in Miami before we came back to New York. And we had just had him in the booth, and he just finished this record, and so he laid down. And so I was like, yo, and I had his two sons there, and I was like, listen, y'all spit. So I put on a beat, and they got in the studio, and Javon is actually, he's nice. He's nice.
Right.
So he's looking to get into music and carry his father's legacy.
Wow.
He's 17 years old, just turned 17. And then he has a little daughter, Junior,
Mhm.
that lives out in Cali, and she has just started making music, and she raps too. So yeah, they had two of them. Definitely, I know that on the hip hop side,
Mhm.
really want to do something. So we're gonna see what we can do to help them.
That's amazing. I'm glad they're getting their foot
Yeah.
in the door and they're trying out their talents. That's really good to hear.
Yeah. And then his older kids, I mean, it's not about music. A lot of them are into, one, two, three, four of them are in college,
Hmm.
from I think computer science, to criminology, to the medical field. Like they're going to make their mark in other
In
ways.
the
Yeah.
major fields. Oh,
Yeah. They're making their mark in other ways. So that's our job now, is to support the children and whatever their dreams are, whether it be music or other professions, but to help them to live out their dreams at this point.
I love that. Well, speaking of dreams, what advice do you have for anyone that wants to be an artist or work in management in the entertainment industry?
The game has changed now. It's just so different from when I started. To me, there's no real artist development anymore.
It's not.
It's like, yeah, well, like what we did, we saw raw talent that we believed in, and we developed them from up until they reach stardom. And now I feel like what it is, instead they watch social media, and the labels are watching social media and they see how many streams and they wait for you to get so certain amount of streams and a certain amount of followers. And if you happen to stumble on a hit record, now all of a sudden they want to come to you and offer you a single deal or a low level deal because they don't really have true A&Rs anymore, in my opinion.
I, I am
You
100
know, but
behind.
that's also why you got the what they call them, the one hit wonders and the flash in the pans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because you can somebody couldn't stumble over a hit record. They can stumble over it, but you can't have a career unless you really know how to make one, you know,
Yeah, because I
because
know.
then you can make one, you can make another one, you can make another one.
Mhm.
If you know what you're doing, like when you hear this album, you
Mm.
know, it's a classic. When you know what you're doing, you can make hit records, you know.
You're passionate about
Um,
it.
you're passionate about it. You respect the culture. One thing about X is he respected the art form. And so what I mean by that is he didn't freestyle. He felt that his use of words was a gift from God. And so everything he did, every rhyme, he wrote it down. He said, it's the least I do. It's me showing God that I respect the talent. I'm not just going to come off the top of my head. The words have to have meaning. You know, it's not just about the last word, rhyming with that word. It's not about that. And so he literally would sit down and everything he did, he penned. He had suitcases full of rhymes, you
Wow.
know, and at the end of every rhyme, he
Mhm.
would write, thank you, God, because he felt everything was a gift, you know. And so that's the thing, is that he took the art form serious. I know even recently, as we were doing this album when we're in studio, um, sometimes you have a newer engineer. If I couldn't bring my main engineer with us,
Mhm.
and they were shocked when I tell them, no, 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 we're not punching. We don't do any punches. You know, these artists today, they punching in every 2 bars, every 6 bars and all that. He
Yeah.
feel like if I can't spit 16 bars straight, then I got to stop. I got to hang it up. And so he never punched. I don't care if he get to the last bar and makes a mistake. He's starting over from the beginning and he's going to spit the 16 straight through. Even on hypes and ad libs, he did the same thing. He had to do it straight through. It was just respect for the culture and for the art form. And so my advice is be true to the culture, like really be true to your profession, you
Mhm.
know.
Don't try and take the easy road out.
Don't take the easy way and really be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. I'm not mad at anybody. If you can make your money, make your money.
Mhm.
But there's a way you can do that and at the same time honor and respect those that came before you and just the art form, you know. And so I guess that's my only advice. And that's why it's hard for me to deal with other artists or to even take on other artists to manage, because when you came up with DMX, Jadakiss, Styles, Chic, Eve,
Mhm.
Drag, like you're talking about icons in the game, and so it's hard. The first thing I say is, are you authentic? I got to believe you first. I don't care how nice you are, how it sounds. I got to believe you. If I don't believe you, I don't care what you're saying,
Exactly.
So
That's it.
on the management side, I would say that's the thing. Make sure you believe whoever you have, believe in them. Once you believe in them, then go hard, go all the way. But make sure they're believable. Make sure they do what they say they're going to do, you
Exactly.
know, make sure you lived it. Otherwise, don't talk about it. And then quite honestly, this is me, of course, getting older, is
Mhm.
that I'm tired of a lot of the negativity, you know, and when do we begin to, you know, how do we keep allowing ourselves to keep talking about killing one another? So that's a whole nother story. We can get into that. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
interview,
I'm so tired of
you
that
know,
also.
and like, why are these companies okay with young black men
Mhm.
openly talking about killing other black men all the time? Because if we were on there saying kill Whitey or kill this one, I bet you it would be censored. But
Exactly.
how come,
Yeah.
as long as we saying end this and end that,
Mhm.
it's okay?
With it.
And
But
so that's more of my political statement, that I'm wondering how come.
yeah.
And I can't even blame them. It's like at some point we got to start policing ourselves, you
Fact.
know. Um, but yeah, that's a discussion for another time. Like,
I feel you on that one,
yeah,
okay. Well, speaking about
Yeah.
respecting the culture, us at True Urban Culture have been very, very impacted by DMX's music, his work, and all of the art forms. So, what impact do you believe that DMX had on what we like to call true urban culture?
His impact is authenticity. He never did anything. He never did anything because it was a trend. He never did anything because it might get record sales. He never did anything because this is what everybody else was doing. And so for me, his impact is the way he lived his life, is that realness, that authenticity, because that urban culture is the streets.
Mhm.
It's the streets. It's the environment that we grew up in. And one thing that I like about the street that I don't like about whether it's corporate America or the industry is in the street you gotta kind of show respect, because if not, you get your head knocked off. Whereas a lot of the fakeness now, where people smile in your face, talk behind your back, whether it's in the industry today or corporate America, like
Yeah, they don't do
so
it like
X is about authenticity. Like he's not talking behind you. It's authentic. You know,
that.
people heard it to the point where sometimes it got him in trouble. I mean, not big trouble, but people, we had to stop telling people, yo, stop asking him in interviews about other artists, because he's just gonna give you a
You know
natural
what
reaction.
blogs get? They get their money off
Yeah.
in beef.
So he's gonna give you, oh, I don't like this one. I don't even remember. I don't even like how he looks. I don't like it. Look how he cut his hair. Because he's just raw. He's like that, you know. And he never cared. But then after a while, he'd think about it and be like, man, I didn't have to say that because, you know, put this man down just because we have, I don't like certain styles or whatever. So he was mature in that sense, but he's just authentic. And so to me, for urban culture, it's real. It's what people can relate. It's relatable. I don't like today everybody talking about money, 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 cars, because it's not relatable. Your average person is never going to have that much money. They're
Exactly.
never going to drive that type of car. And so if that's all that makes you who you are, like you're selling dreams to the masses. You're selling dreams to children who are looking up to you, and there's no substance to your dream that you're selling them. you know and for many, we will not attain that. So why is that the standard? And then also the way we constantly, the music today, not that it's, I might stop saying today, because we just said it slicker back in the day. We
Mhm.
said it slicker,
Yeah, it was more
even in old
disguised.
school
Now it's just
R&B.
like,
Right. It's just more blatant now and disrespectful of
mhm.
women and misogyny in women. It's always been, but it's, at least it was said a certain way. It was polished a little, at least,
Yeah.
but now it's just outright. So, but that's me in my old age right now. Yeah. So it's his authenticity. If you want to tell me his mark on urban culture or what he mean, it's true to himself, true to the art form, true to the culture, and true to the environment that he grew up in.
Mm,
Yeah. Almost to a fault.
graceful. I love how you said that.
Yeah.
All right.
Almost to a fault.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time to talk to us at True Urban Culture. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate you. And thank you for all the love, that outpouring of love to him, his family, his children. It's greatly appreciated. It's really helping them get through this.
And we cannot wait for the album. We can't wait
Yeah,
for the
the
music.
announcement is Saturday. They're gonna announce it Saturday.
And we'll be tuning in. And
All
I'll
right.
be waiting. All right. You have a
All
blessed
right.
day, Craig.
Take care.
An honor
Thank you.
talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.